Imagine the world without CR7. No 5 Ballon d'Ors, no bicycle kick against Juventus, and no legendary rivalries. It almost happened. Before the fame, before the millions, and before the trophies, Cristiano Ronaldo was just a skinny kid with a heart that beat too fast for his own good. This is the story of how a life-threatening diagnosis nearly ended the greatest career in football history before it even began. Most people see the finished product, the bronze statue, the incredible physique, the endless records, but they forget the boy who almost lost everything before he even had a name. But to understand the surgery, we have to go back to the beginning. Madeira, a small island off the coast of Portugal, was where the spark first caught fire. Ronaldo didn't have a silver spoon. He had a ball made of rags and a street that doubled as a pitch. He played until his shoes fell apart, and his mother, Dolores, knew he was different from the moment he could walk. He had an obsession that bordered on the fanatical. But when he left for Sporting CP at just 12 years old, the dream started to crumble. He was alone in a big city, bullied for his island accent, and crying every single day. He would call home, voice cracking, begging to come back to the safety of his mother's kitchen. But he stayed. He stayed because he knew he was born for this. But that wasn't his biggest obstacle. Here's where it gets terrifying. At 15, the sporting medical staff noticed something wrong during a standard physical. While other boys were catching their breath after a heavy session, Ronaldo's heart was still racing like a Formula One engine at red line. It wasn't just adrenaline or the excitement of the game, it was tachycardia. His heart rate was dangerously high, even when he was sitting perfectly still, resting in the locker room. The doctors sat him down and delivered the news that would break any athlete. His heart might not be able to handle the intensity of professional football. Think about that for a second. The kid who lived for the pitch, the boy who used football as his only escape from poverty, was told his body was failing him. The very thing he loved most was the thing that might kill him. The medical team was blunt. They told him that if he continued to push himself at this rate, the risk of a major cardiac event was skyrocketing. The dream was hanging by a single fraying thread. But wait until you hear how his mother reacted. Dolores Aveiro didn't let him give up. She had seen him play. She had seen the fire in his eyes. They had one option, a risky laser surgery to cauterize the area of his heart, causing the irregular rhythm. This wasn't a standard procedure for a teenager back then. It was cutting edge and carried immense pressure. One mistake by the surgeons, one slip of the laser, and he might never run again, let alone play for one of the biggest clubs in Europe. The morning of the surgery, Ronaldo wasn't thinking about the risks or the potential for things to go south. He was thinking about the ball. He was thinking about the grass. He was thinking about the goals he hadn't scored yet. They went in with the laser, targeted the specific nerve pathways, and fixed the rhythm of his heart. It was a success. But here's the part that sounds like a movie script. Most people take weeks, even months, to recover from heart surgery. They are told to rest, to be cautious, to avoid any strain. But Cristiano? He was back at the training ground just a few days later. He wasn't just recovered, he was faster. It was like he had been unlocked, like a governor had been removed from his engine. He was training with a ferocity that scared the coaching staff. But that surgery didn't just fix a physical valve. It forged his legendary mentality. He realized that every second on that pitch was a gift, a second chance that could have been snatched away. When you see him today, screaming at his teammates for a missed pass or training until 3 a.m. in his private gym, remember that hospital bed in Lisbon. He's not just playing against a rival team, he's playing like a man who knows how close he came to losing it all. He learned at 15 that talent is nothing without a body that can sustain it and a mind that refuses to break. And that's the real secret of CR7. The surgery didn't make him the best, it made him realize he had no time to waste. If he hadn't faced that fear at 15, would he have the same hunger today? Probably not. He turned a potential tragedy into the foundation of a global empire. He took a heartbeat that was out of control and synced it with the rhythm of the game. He proved that even when your own heart is against you, you can still find the beat. He didn't just survive heart surgery, he used it to build a heart of iron. But let's look closer at those days in the hospital. Can you imagine the silence of the recovery room? For a boy who was used to the constant noise of the crowd and the thud of the ball, that silence must have been deafening. It was in that silence that the resolve was built. He promised himself that if he got back on that field, he would never let a single day go to waste. He would be the first to arrive and the last to leave. He would treat his body like a temple because he knew how fragile it could be. This is why he doesn't drink, why he follows a strict diet, and why he spends millions on recovery technology. It all traces back to that one diagnosis. The doctors at Sporting were amazed. They had never seen a recovery like it, not just physically, but psychologically. Usually, a heart scare makes a player timid. They become afraid to push their limits, afraid that the fluttering will return. But Ronaldo did the opposite. He pushed harder. He wanted to test the repair. He wanted to see if his new heart could handle more than the old one, and it could. Just months later, he was promoted to the first team. He became the first player in Sporting's history to play for the under-16, under-17, under-18, B team, and first team, all within a single season. That isn't just talent, that is a man on a mission. When Manchester United finally came calling in 2003, Sir Alex Ferguson didn't just see a fast kid with stepovers. He saw a kid with a heart that had already been tested by fire. He saw a mentality that was already veteran level. The surgery was the secret catalyst for everything that followed. The Premier League titles, the Champions League glory, the move to Real Madrid, the Euro 2016 triumph. None of it happens without that laser in a Lisbon hospital. So next time you watch him step up to take a last-minute free kick and you see that deep breath he takes, remember what's happening inside his chest. That heart is steady now. It's calm. It's the heart of a survivor. He didn't just overcome a medical condition, he conquered the fear of his own mortality. He took a weakness and turned it into his greatest strength. And that is why, no matter what happens on the pitch, Cristiano Ronaldo has already won the most important game of his life. He chose to fight when he could have quit. And in doing so, he showed the world that a racing heart isn't a curse. It's an engine. And if you have the courage to fix it, there's no limit to where it can take you.